Welcome to Showcase Richmond. I'm Matt DiNardo. A majority of Social Security disability cases get denied initially. So what happens when your case gets denied? What's the next step? Well, to answer this question and more is attorney Charles Krumbein from Krumbein and Associates. Charles, thanks so much for joining us. Let's start with that initial question. Why are so many cases getting denied?
It's always been that way.
Okay.
Just because you think you can't work, the government can't just write you a check. So they have very complicated rules to determine if you are a person who is unable to do any job whatsoever, not just your job. And so at the initial stages, a person who's had some training looks over your medical notes, your medical records, what the doctor says, and says, hey, can this person do a job? And unless you can really show, I mean, you're really sick, you know, no arms, no legs, I mean, whatever you want to imagine,
sure,
then they have to turn you down. Your job is to not take no as the final answer and to appeal. Appealing is incredibly simple. It's one piece of paper. If you can remember your name and your address and sign your name, you've appealed it. And they reconsider their decision with someone with more experience, who will also turn you down. But that's the system. They think about it. They're working at this. After that, what you want to do is ask for a hearing in front of a judge who has more authority, more experience, and who can make a better decision for you.
Once I'm initially denied, just backstepping for a second, and I put down that name and number on my piece of paper, and I've appealed it, how long does the appeals process take?
It varies a lot.
Sure.
Some people get these decisions about every 90 days, some people faster, some people slower. A lot of it depends on how quickly your doctors and hospitals send the medical records to Social Security. It's about the medical records. And if the doctor isn't in a hurry or forgets or whatever, it takes longer. And there are employees who are busy. They have lives too. Now, meanwhile, you're miserable, but that's how it works.
Okay. I've appealed, and now I get denied on the appeal. Is this the time when I say, hello, Charles Krumbein, I need your help. I need to hire an attorney?
The best time to hire an attorney is after you've gotten 2 letters saying no. An initial letter of denial and then a letter of reconsideration denial. While they call it an appeal, the official term is reconsideration. They thought about it again. When you get that second reconsideration, you have 60 days to ask for a hearing in front of a judge. You don't miss these deadlines. If you miss the deadline, you got to start all over again.
Okay.
And that's not good.
Now, how do legal fees work for disability cases in a general sense?
In a very specific sense is, I don't get even 1 penny unless you win. That is the law. I can only ask you to pay for copies of medical records. Well, I don't get to keep that money. I got to pay the doctor or the hospital that made your medical records. Other than that, I get nothing unless you win.
Now,
not even 1 penny.
The key you have always said, and you continue to stress, is that the person who is claiming disability cannot work at any job. Not the job he just has right now, but whatever it is.
And that's the toughest, most shocking idea that happens to people. They talk to me over and over again how they can't do that old job. That's important. You have to prove that. But it's about the inability to do any job, and that is a big, shocking idea for most people.
Now, when we talk about any job, it may not be in the Richmond area. You may have to relocate.
The legal definition is no job that exists in the national economy that you could do. Now look, they're not silly, they're not mean, and so they don't, only jobs that only exist in California, they don't use that as an example in Richmond, but the definition is
national
no
economy.
job.
Charles Krumbein is from Krumbein and Associates. Call him right now to find out more. 804-673-4358. Thank you so much.